Imagine a Roman gladiator, ripped, fearless, soaked in blood. Now picture that same gladiator, deliberately fattened like a sumo wrestler, eating barley slop and drinking ashes. Yes, ashes. The Romans called them hordearii, the Barley Men. And the fat wasn't an accident. It was engineered. It was the secret to surviving the arena. Stay to the end, because I'm going to show you the exact daily recipe almost every gladiator ate, and why one champion cost more than a Roman villa. Hollywood lied to us completely. We picture gladiators tearing into giant roasts, drinking wine like warriors, feasting before battle. But real gladiators? Most were enslaved people, captured soldiers, criminals, or simply those who owed money and had no other choice. Their food wasn't about pleasure, it wasn't about strength, it was about cost efficiency. Archaeologists at the Gladiator Cemetery in Ephesus ran chemical analysis on 22 skeletons. The results were shocking. Almost zero animal protein, massive amounts of barley residue, elevated strontium levels, proof of a plant-heavy diet, and signs of repetitive injuries healed again and again. These men weren't sculpted bodybuilders. They were nutritionally engineered tools. Rome didn't want lean warriors. Rome wanted durable ones, fighters who could bleed dramatically, survive wounds, and fight again next week. Close your eyes and walk with me. A long, low stone building sits behind the training yard. Smoke drifts from a central fire pit. Rough wooden benches line the walls. Clay bowls stacked in crates. The smell of damp linen, sweat, and boiling barley fills the air. This isn't a dining room. This is fuel distribution. Hundreds of gladiators shuffle in before sunrise, bruised, half awake, clutching their wooden spoons. The cook ladles out their number one food, pulse. The gladiators' fuel, a thick, sticky porridge made from barley boiled in water, not wheat, not rice. Barley, the cheapest, densest grain Rome could mass produce. It tasted like warm glue. They ate it twice a day, every day. Occasionally, depending on the gladiator school, they mixed in chopped onions, garlic, a splash of olive oil, or 2 dried figs if the owner was feeling generous. Most days, it was just barley mush. Gladiators didn't sit around talking and laughing. They ate quickly, quietly, focused on the long day of training ahead. This was breakfast and dinner. Every single day. Now imagine midday. The fighters return from morning drills drenched in sweat. Some have bruises, others bleeding from training cuts. Their reward? A huge clay pot of legume stew, beans, lentils, peas, chickpeas, all boiled until soft. This stew was thick, heavy, and full of carbs, not for fun, for survival. Rome needed fighters who could train for hours in the sun, fight hard, and recover quickly. Protein didn't matter to them. Carbs did. Herbs like dill, coriander, or thyme were added when available, not for flavor, but to make rotting food almost edible. This meal kept gladiators alive. Barely. Now, here's the part most people can't believe. After training, gladiators drank pasca, cheap vinegar diluted with water. But that wasn't all. Into this iced, sour drink they mixed wood ash or burnt plant ashes, sometimes crushed bone ash. This sounds disgusting. And it was. But the ashes added calcium, magnesium, and potassium. Exactly what their bodies lost through brutal training. Pliny the Elder wrote that pasca revived the weary and strengthened the body. Archaeologists even found gladiator water jugs with a chalky gray residue inside, ash still clinging to the pottery after 2,000 years. So, yes, they really drank ashes. And they drank it daily. Here's where everything starts to make sense. Why did Rome feed their fighters barley and beans instead of meat? Because barley packs on body fat, and body fat was literal armor. Imagine two fighters in the arena. A lean athlete gets cut, the blade sinks deep, massive blood loss, organs exposed, instant death. A padded gladiator gets cut, blade slices skin and fat, dramatic blood spray, shallow wound, survives. The crowd got the spectacle they craved. The owner kept his investment alive. To Rome, this was genius. Medical texts from the time even mention gladiators being chosen for thick, protecting layers of flesh. Not muscle, flesh. They were built to bleed, not to look good. Now, let's talk money, because this explains everything. A skilled gladiator could cost 50,000 to 100,000 sesterces. To compare, a Roman soldier's yearly pay, 900 sesterces, a luxury villa, 30,000 sesterces, a top gladiator. Worth more than both owners treated their fighters like expensive racehorses. Constant medical care, massages, specialized training, and yes, the cheapest diet that kept them alive. The crowd adored them. Children collected clay figurines of their favorite fighters. Merchants sold merchandise, lamps, cups, toys, carvings. They were celebrities, but fed like cattle. Most gladiators lived on barley mush and bean stew, but champions, the ones with 20, 30, 40 victories, lived differently. They were given better meals, such as roasted pork, grilled mullet fish, honey cakes, fresh fruit and olives, extra olive oil, real wine instead of pasca, and sometimes a private cook. They still didn't dine like senators, but compared to the others, they were kings. This food wasn't luxury. It was a business strategy. A champion brings crowds. Crowds bring money. Money keeps the gladiator schools alive. Feeding a champion high-quality food wasn't generosity. It was an investment. Here it is, the reconstructed dish 99% of gladiators ate nearly every day. Authentic gladiator. Pulse 300 grams of barley, 150 grams of lentils or chickpeas, 1 onion, 1 garlic clove, 1 tablespoon olive oil, pinch of salt, handful of dried figs. Optional, 1 teaspoon of wood ash. Do not try this. Boil it until thick, mushy, heavy. This was fuel, not flavor. Today, the entire dish costs about $2. Back then, pennies. It built fat. It restored energy. It kept fighters alive just long enough to entertain the crowds. This wasn't fine dining. This was survival science, Roman style. So next time Hollywood hands a gladiator a steak, just laugh. The real ones were slurping barley mush, drinking ashes, and getting deliberately fat, all so they could bleed pretty and live to fight another day. If this shocked you, comment Barley Gang right now and smash subscribe. Next week, we expose the truth about samurai. They were fat, drunk rice boys who still cut armies in half. See you on the battlefield.